Well, it's Christmas Eve, and I just drove down a little over, I don't even know how far it was, but it was about 11 hours worth of drive time from Washington, D.C. down to Lake City, Florida to spend Christmas with my dad. Last year was the first Christmas I spent away from home, and didn't want to make a habit of it, so took a little bit of leave and came down here. Like I said, we're in Lake City, Florida. We found a nice little Christmassy looking spot, and it's hard to be here and not think about kettles, and kind of how relieved I am that I'm not doing them anymore, but also kind of how much I miss them. I remember, I try to tell people about them. People always ask me, well, what do you like to do for Christmas usually? Well, I never really had anything to do. I was working 40, 50, 60 hours a week, raising money and playing my horn, but they're great stories, and it's just certain things that if you weren't part of the team, you don't get it. I tell people, about Juju Gang. Nobody knows what that is except for the gang itself and the people who made it up. Or why do you call yourself Bull? Well, it goes back to this time when I tried to fix a coin counter. Couldn't do it. Finally, in Concord, me and Diana finally got so frustrated with this thing. We took it up to the guy who sold it to us, and finally he moves a little piece here, a little piece there, boom, it's fixed. And that's that, end of story. And but actually it's not the end of the story. As I was messing around with some of the stuff there, I bumped back into another machine. So we used like a Bull and China cabinet, Archie. And the name just stuck. I mean, I was always Bull, but I was never really Bull until we came back and told that story. It's just little stories here and there that, you see somebody do something stupid. Oh, where'd that part? You hear that so many times. Or you get little stories that you see people doing crazy stuff on the job, and you have your own little laugh. Think about how crazy this person is. But then you come back to the counting room late at night, and everybody shares their stories, go around, talk about the day, and it makes it. Kettles was the most awesome thing ever. Yeah, it took a lot of time away from my social life when I was younger. But and here comes the rain. If I was in DC right now, it'd be snow. One of my most favorite moments ever came in Concord one night when it was pouring down rain. My dad was pissed off with pretty much the whole team. We had some people in that were new to the system, and of course, as everybody knows, system is the solution. I'll say that again and enunciate my words. The system is the solution. And when you don't conform to the system, well, you're going to be in for a world of hurt, because it just doesn't happen like that. And anyway, people were messing up, and finally my dad takes everybody out in the rain, with the exception of me and Austin, who were sitting there counting the coins. And it gets to the point where the coin counter stops. There are no more change kettles to go. And all of a sudden the MP3 stopped. So there's dead silence, and you hear little bits and pieces of my dad's voice coming from outside, and you peek out the window, and here's Diana and Davina and Lori, and the cold December night, raining kind of like it is now. Of course, it's Concord, California, a little bit colder than it is here in Lake City. You see them all shivering, and you just listen to just getting chewed out, and it was pretty funny. And then when they come back in, they ask, well, why are you listening in? Well, we weren't. Coin kind of stopped. Music stopped.
Well, I think there were a couple other people that you left out that were the primary targets of my frustration. It was a couple of people from Lake City that I hired to work with me.
I can't remember.
Well, we won't mention their names,
Okay.
but they were constantly falling late on their routes, and so it wasn't the three
I
late.
left the two of them out just to...
And what did I tell you when I took them outside? I told y'all, don't stop that coin counter. Just keep working.
But when all the coins are done and we're caught up and the music stops, whoops.
I think your brother Austin said it best one time, or you told me later that you said amongst yourselves, "Wow, we can't believe that our dad's this angry and it ain't at us."
I don't remember that. That sounds right. That sounds right.
I think
we're
that
always making messes. But that time of year, he cut the mess. He cut us some slack because we did such great work for him. You know, another cool thing about Kettles, and I just remember the people he worked with. You know, there are a lot of great people in all these cities, but by far my most favorite person to work with was Amir Rafua. He's a blind bell ringer, and he and I were fierce competitors. You know, me and my horn playing at Target, and him and his blind, him and his seeing eye dog working at the Walmart the other end of town. And he usually got the best of me pretty much every day, but every once in a while I'd you know, get a day in, you know, where I beat him. But we always had a lot of fun and a lot of laughs, and it was a friendship that carried over. I know, you know, his daughter is still a friend of mine. His wife is a good friend, and I know my dad still keeps in touch with him from time to time. But he's a great guy, and I remember this one time, my dad used to do these things where he would award people, like on for instance, payday, or when we hit $100,000 raised for the season, he'd pass out candy bars, payday and $100,000 respectively. And for each $100 that the person raised the previous day, he would throw a candy bar at them. So this one time, my dad was giving out these $100,000 bars. We hit $100,000 raised for the season, and for each $100 the person made the previous day, for instance, I made about $600 that day, 600 and change. She would throw 700,000 bars. You know, we'd chuck them at everybody, and they have to catch them. You know, kind of like a nice little incentive. You get a couple pieces of candy. Well, Amir, here he is throwing them, and